there is a cover-up, a big cover-up.
We knew something was wrong. He had brought us in to Center Staging Studios on May 29th and told us he was unhappy with the concerts, that he couldn't sleep, he couldn't eat, and that he had agreed to 10 shows and woke up the next day to 50, and that he was stressed and that he was only one person, and that even the scheduling of the shows were done wrong. And quoting him, he said, "for an obvious reason."
Michael Jackson has hid out at his London O2 Arena gig bookers, saying he believed he only signed up to play 10 shows, not the 50 he's scheduled to play at the venue. Speaking to fans outside his Los Angeles dance studio, the singer admitted that he might not be physically well enough to complete all 50 shows and explained that he was really angry. The show's promoters have already disputed the latest claims, but with some of the first shows in July already postponed, things are not looking good.
And Michael Jackson is apparently very upset with his concert promoters for booking so many shows in London. After his scheduled 10 shows at the O2 Arena sold out, his promoters struck a deal for Jackson to stay for 40 more shows. He claims he didn't agree to it and that he learned of the extra bookings when he woke up one morning and heard it on the news. Well, he's now panicking. He says he's not physically strong enough for that many shows. He says he's not a big eater, and if he doesn't put on some weight, he'll never get through it.
I don't like to. I go through hell. I go through hell touring.
Whatever the true fact on how this man has gone from here becomes, it is all still a result of what this business has done to him. Period. I mean, it's all a result of what the business did to him.
He was pushed to the brink by people that were extremely powerful, and he was not treated fairly.
And Michael told me, Corey, I can't tour anymore. I'm not going to tour anymore. Okay? And I said, why, Mike? He said, because it'll kill me. He said, because it'll kill me.
He was surrounded by, I hate to say it, the evils of the entertainment industry. When I say that, I mean people that only care about his profitability and not about his health and his well-being.
There's more tools added on to it. Michael only agreed that what he told me, Michael told me this himself, that he only agreed to 10 shows.
Randy, was 50 shows too many for Michael to be expected to do?
He was going to average 2¼ shows a week. So no, the truth is, Chris, if that was too many, then one would have been too many.
We just saw the head of AEG and also Michael's former manager saying he was perfectly ready for 50 shows. He was fit for that. What do you say?
That's totally untrue. Randy Phillips and AEG was controlling Michael with their finances at the end. Michael Jackson was not able to hire his own people. He was not able to do what Michael Jackson wanted to do, because everyone knows that Michael Jackson at the end was in a financial strain. So they was demanding things of Michael that he did not want to do. Like Michael told me personally, he would never hire Frank DeLeo and John Branca back into his life. He would never bring them back into his life. But AEG saw fit to bring them back into his life the week before he passed. They was making moves like that. And if Michael Jackson wouldn't go along with those moves, I feel that they was threatening to oust everything with him. They was taking care of Michael Jackson financially. And they was forcing him to do things. Michael Jackson told me himself when he hired me that he never wanted to do 50 shows. He only agreed to do 10.
Well, let's talk about that. AEG sent us a statement overnight, and Randy Phillips says in that statement, our original agreement with Michael Jackson called for 31 shows. Michael was willing to increase the number of performances to 50. So he says it was Michael's decision, and they have said they think it was about the money.
That's not what Michael told me. Michael told me he agreed to do 10. His first order of the day to me was to go over and rearrange the shows so that it would be something that he could possibly do. I attempted to do that. I spoke to Randy Phillips that following Monday morning on the phone, and he told me to shove off. He didn't want to talk about it.
He says he does not remember having any conversation with you.
Well, naturally, he would say that.
He honestly was crying. I could hear it in his voice. He was choked up.
Dr. Tomei told us flat out that he didn't feel Michael would make one date in London.
So you got this company called AEG, which couldn't give a fuck whether or not he lives or dies. And if I was going to investigate something, I would investigate that.
And they asked me if I would do this again, given everything that has happened. And the answer is hell yes.
They murdered my brother, and they know who they are. It's not just Dr. Murray, I promise you that. It's more people involved, and they know exactly who they are, and I'm going to let you guys know exactly what's happening and what's going on.
Michael was surrounded by people that positioned themselves in his life, positioned themselves to control and take advantage of him.
Without saying too much, I started to question some of the people who were around my brother. And when you look at the environment around my brother leading up to his death, there's a lot of strange coincidences. He was very afraid for his life. He was threatened that his children would be taken away from him. He was threatened that his assets would be taken from him. He was threatened that they would take his home if he didn't do what was asked of him by the powers that be. Let's just say that.
Not a lot, but there's some people complain that the ticket's too expensive. They should be able to keep their ticket anyway, even with the refund. Well, that's maybe fine in, some fantasy world. Okay, but where do you get a refund and keep the product also?
And they asked me if I would do this again, given everything that has happened. And the answer is hell yes.